Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
I'm Margaret Howell reporting for Infowars.com. You know, we've heard a lot about robots and how they're taking over human jobs, and they're starting a very uneasy transition into society where they're very normalized. I'm joined in studio by Ashley Beckford. We're going to be talking about some of these cases, Ashley, that we put together. The first one that I want to mention, France. It's rolled out the world's first driverless bus. So if you're comfortable getting on a city bus without actually having a driver, you might want to visit this French town. These driverless minibuses, they're going to be taking passengers in the eastern part of the French city of Lyon, if I'm saying that correctly, and I live there. At the weekend time, it's going to be a year-long experiment, weekends only, 2 electric vehicles. And get this, though, they're not going fast enough to kill anybody. They're only going to go 12 miles an hour. So unless, you know, it'd be hard-pressed for one of these buses to actually kill someone. Costing $225,000 each. Would you get on a bus with no driver is my first question.
Well, absolutely not, Maggie. Well, first of all, they are, I think, going to actually have drivers probably there within the seat, even though it says it's a driverless car. I think a lot of these new technologies, they're actually still having human drivers in the seat, but it's just the technology is going to be able to drive the vehicle. But even though you say it's only going 12 miles per hour, I'm concerned that in that 12 miles per hour, you can still really do some damage, you know?
I mean, so you would be, so these buses you're saying would have the driver perhaps as a passenger, just kind of monitoring and making sure that everything's working.
Right.
According to this article, so these mini buses, they've been tested in French cities, including in Switzerland, not carrying any passengers, of course. But I don't know if you remember this case. The Tesla manufacturer, this driverless car, we covered it here in Infowars. The man was decapitated. He was watching Harry Potter behind the wheel of his driverless car. It goes underneath a tractor trailer and decapitates him.
Right.
So, but obviously not going 12 miles an hour.
No, going much faster, but that's the problem with these driverless cars, is that they're actually not safe. They're not actually giving us the ability to test these out in a proper fashion before you're really going out there and risking your life. This guy, they said, you know, he was going to be safe. Tesla said, you know, go ahead and get into this vehicle. But then he comes up to a technological issue with the vehicle where it's not even recognizing this tractor trailer, and that's how the accident ended up happening.
Right. Well, speaking of cars and other technology, you know, Ashley, you have a story for us regarding a Mercedes technological advancement.
Yes, that's correct, Margaret. Actually, this story was linked on the Drudge Report today. The headline is, Mercedes to transform cars into roving parking space finders. So automobiles are driving past free spots, and they're going to be able to share this information via the cloud network. So Mercedes-Benz cars are going to give each other a heads up when a space is actually free. Several car makers are doing this. They're saying it's going to reduce the time and stress needed to find parking, which is also a burden on cities because, you know, that adds to traffic congestion and pollutions from the vehicles making loops. And they're hoping over at Daimler AG that this is going to help people save time. And in addition to that, they're actually going to be delivering parcels to your trunk directly. They have online shopping parcels that are going to deliver directly to your car's trunk following next year. It's a broad pilot project that they've already done with smart city cars. And basically, they have these sensors that are going to be able to find these parking spots, even if you're going up to 35 miles per hour or 55 kilometers. They're going to be sharing the information about the probability of finding a space, real-time info, the exact location, and the size of spots, which is going to create a digital parking map that can be displayed in the car. And all the cars basically are already connected. So if they already have the sensors, you're set right now. So what do you think about that?
Look, I'm fine with the cars not bumping into each other. The cars can talk to themselves for all I care, as long as they don't start talking to me. And I know Bluetooth and Siri and things like that, they kind of talk to us and they really humanize this type of technology. And they're getting us ready for a takeover. You know, robots policing us. We're going to be talking about that in just a second. I'm just going to go to that now. Security robots, they're already patrolling these parking lots and neighborhoods. Now, they're basically glorified security cameras. There's a company called Nightscope. It's manufactured 2 of these bots, and they're in malls. It's a little security camera. It roams around. It tells you, like, not to spit your gum out, you know, things like that, where to put your trash. But they've started policing us, Ashley, and these robots, they've really humanized them. So they record video, provide thermal imaging, they read license plates, they track parked cars, they serve as a two-way intercom. They play this pre-recorded message. So there's not really a lot of emotion with any of these. They're not human yet, if you will. They're big in scale. They're about 300 pounds. And I'm fine with security cameras in malls. That's great. You've got one on wheels that kind of talks. It's annoying. You really wouldn't want some big bot following you around.
I'd prefer not.
Yeah, well, me too. So the security cameras that are stabilized, it's one thing, but this is basically a security camera on wheels.
Right.
It's robotic. It has no emotion, but it alerts security to when you're doing something wrong. So cutting down on the human aspect of having these jobs, putting these big bots in. Of course, some Silicon Valley entrepreneurs come up with this, a way to modernize and privatize and monetize the services that were once entrusted to law enforcement. This is taking that a step further. Now, speaking of robots, so if you're not comfortable with this, you might not be comfortable with a robot forming...
I don't think I will be. I know where you're going with this.
Forming an emotional connection. So I hate housework myself. So when I originally read this article, I'm like, I'd be fine with a machine vacuuming the floor. That'd be fine with
the Roomba.
This is sort of a Roomba with eyes and a face that talks to you. This is something that Sony is building, and they say that it can form an emotional connection with humans. So
disturbing.
These para-human robots would be vacuuming your floor, and you know you'd be hard-pressed not to have an emotional connection to somebody who's serving you. So it's sort of humanizing the bot, and this artificial intelligence is becoming smarter than humans. That's the kind of fear where we're going with this. This one just vacuums the floor, but we're getting to a place that's that's a Will Smith movie, frankly.
Well, yeah, and, or The Matrix, you know, 1984, where you know the total awareness kind of model. We're going to that area definitely because people are actually so obsessed with technology that they actually need to go to digital detox camps at this point. I have an article here from NBC Universal. People cope without tech at digital detox camp. 66% of us apparently suffer from nomophobia, which is a fear of losing your phone or not having access to your phone. This has actually led to a trend in digital detoxing. And they have these retreats where they're actually structuring time away from technology. More than 100 people came to a recent camp called Grounded in North Carolina for 4 days of tech-free play. And basically it has physical and psychological benefits because, you know, as the technology gets more and more pervasive in our lives, we really need a break sometimes. And one of those reasons you might need a break is because of this article. Are cell phones to blame for certain skin issues? Actually, cell phones are causing a lot of skin issues these days because people are carrying around these cell phones. They're extremely, extremely dirty. It's causing skin issues from the sweat, the makeup, anything you have on your hands, germs from any place you put your hands. Actually, one study found out cell phones are contaminated with more bacteria than an actual toilet. Yeah, exactly.
Everything is dirtier than a toilet seat.
And it's more dangerous than you might think. You know, people think about MRSA and they realize that that's a dangerous thing, but they're saying staph and strep infections, those bacterium are actually even more dangerous because they're so common, they're so prevalent. And that's actually what causes acne. So another thing, too, with cell phones is that people are allergic to nickel. So that can cause a cell phone rash. And the bacteria actually gets into your pores and follicles. It can cause folliculitis. It can be solved with topical treatments. They say, you know, just clean your phone with an antibacterial wipe. You know, what do you think about that?
You know, it's really disgusting. And if you would like to know more about reports just like this, please join us on Infowars.com. You can hear the latest tech report with us, and also take a look at these robots. Are we humanizing them? Are they becoming too much like us? And oh, by the way, yeah, you might want to put your phones down occasionally. That's going to do it for us for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Please join us on Monday night for a special Labor Day report, 7 p.m. Central. The Nightly News will be here. We hope to see you. We hope that you enjoy your weekend and have a fantastic Labor Day.
In the past decade, we have witnessed unparalleled scientific discoveries in the area of health. But no one has put together a formula that focuses directly on brain health, nerve growth factors, and optimizing your cellular energy at the same time. DNA Force is one of the most expensive formulas to produce. Some of the ingredients in DNA Force are $12,000 a kilogram. We are using the coveted, patented, only American source of PQQ, CoQ10, and more. You want the best that's out there at the lowest price anywhere? Well, we're bringing you a total win-win. The ultimate value, cutting-edge, trailblazing game changer that also supports the InfoWar. We have produced a limited run of DNA Force, and it will take up to 12 weeks to produce more once we sell out. Secure your DNA Force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139.